Hey guys, I don't know how well you can see on camera, but this piece of lumber I was just cutting, it's got a bit of a wow in it where I just cut through. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that tells me that my blade's getting dull anyways. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to do a video on how to change a blade on this particular sawmill. I'm not sure if it's going to be the same for all Woodland Mills sawmills, but this one is the Woodland Mills HM126 and it is the 2020 version. All right guys, this is going to be pretty easy. They've made it really easy to change the blades on these. If you have the adjustable blade guide, the first thing you want to do is go ahead and take that off. You just unscrew this here, take it all the way out, and then you just slide this guide right out like that and get it right out of there. Then, of course, if your blade has tension on it like mine does, because I was just cutting, you're going to want to take all the tension off your blade. There, all the tension will be off. So now it should be pretty easy. Make sure you have a pair of good gloves on when you do this, because the blade, even though it's still for cutting wood, can be sharp on your skin. So just carefully take it right off like that. And bam, there you go. It's that easy to take it out. I'm just gonna go grab the new one. Okay guys, I grabbed the new blade. The one thing I'm gonna do, I don't know how important this is, but I'm just gonna get all this sawdust cleaned out of here. I usually do this every time I change a blade, just to try to keep it somewhat from getting built up with all this sawdust, because it does get built up in here pretty quickly. I don't get too crazy with it just because I'm going to be making more sawdust in a couple minutes, but see, there's even a piece of wood in there I didn't even know about, so it's nice just to go over it and get anything like that cleaned out of here. There. Now I am going to be, now this is a little trickier than taking it off, but basically the first thing you want to do is make sure that these are pointing the right way. I've never had a problem, but I should say the teeth on the blade, make sure that they're pointing the right way. I've never had a problem, but I have heard of instances where these could get turned inside out and they're maybe pointing the wrong way, and then obviously you're going to have problems when you're trying to cut. This is a little trickier than taking it off, but you got to get it in these two guides at the bottom, and that's kind of the trick. And then you can kind of see how it can be a little tricky. They want to pop out on you, but if you just have a little bit of patience. There. That's basically all there is to it. Now, all I do is I just put my finger down the back of these band wheels and just keep going around, putting the back of the blade flush with the back of the band wheel, so I'll do that side, and then you come over to this side, do the same thing, and as you're working it, you might notice that you kind of do one side and it'll throw the other side out a little bit, but you just keep going around and you'll get the hang of it. Now I've got it pretty close, so what I'm gonna do is come back here and just put a bit of tension on my band wheel. Not too much, just you'll get the hang of it, but just so it's starting to snug up, but you still want to be able to move this. So now that it's snugged up, I should be able to just do one final check. And that's looking pretty good, guys. So what I'm gonna do now is come back here and tighten this pretty well right up. On this model, all you got to do is turn it in until these two silver pieces of metal are flush with each other. So, you know, something like that. Close enough for right now. And then what I'm gonna do is just stand behind this door here, and I'll try to get you up here to show you what I'm doing, but I just grab this wheel and I start turning it, and I'm just watching it closely to see if it looks like it's gonna come off the band wheel or not. We're looking okay, and then I like to check with my fingers too, still flush. So that's probably good enough, but I'm always a little overcautious, so I like to just sit here and turn it a few times like this with my hands, make sure nothing's moving forwards or backwards, making sure the blade's not going to come off. And I'm pretty happy with that. Now the last thing that you should check, just a second, I'm going to take you off the tripod here and get you right in there. Now the last thing you should check is these two blade guides. There's one here and there's one right there too. I'll just show you one because they're both essentially the same idea. Is when you get the mill, it does tell you that, you know, you should be able to fit a little thin piece of paper or cardboard in between it and the blade. So I'm just using this really thin piece of wood, but you can tell I can just push it in on the top there and push it in on the bottom. Now if it was like super tight on the top or bottom, that means this needs to be adjusted, because that's going to affect the way your blade's tracking, and it's going to be, you know, riding up in that spot or whatever, making your blade go like this. So that's fine. The other one there, I'm just checking it right now too, it's fine. And then the other thing you just want to make sure of is at the back here, you want to make sure you can kind of see how I'm moving it here. There's just a little bit of play there, but it will stop the blade from moving back. So you don't want this so that it's too far forward, you know, kind of pushing your blade right off the band wheel. You'd notice that right away, but you don't want it way back either, because that'll let your blade go backwards and come off the band wheel that way. So you just want it right in the right spot so it's lined up so that it can't go backwards too far. Well, that's about it, guys. I hope that this gave you a little bit of value if you've never done it before. Just remember to put your blade guide back in there, and this can be, it's not tricky, but you just got to make sure it's in the right spot. And you know, see how that's riding up? I don't even think I have that in the right spot right now. So I'm going to clean out some of this sawdust. So that's why I thought I'd show you putting this back on again, because you do have to kind of watch it. There is a groove at the back here, and it can get filled up with sawdust, and it can be, there we go. No, it can make it kind of difficult when you're trying to get this back in there. So that's why I wanted to show this part of it. There, now that's sitting in there, right? And then, of course, you just tighten that back up. So I hope that if you've never done this before, you got a little bit of value or entertainment out of this. There, and then that just slides back and forth like that. And then of course you just close up the front hood again. I'm not going to insult your intelligence by pretending I have to show you how to do that. But anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you got a bit of value out of this video, and I'll see you again.